Hey everyone, my name is Devin Moreno and I am an investor here in Baltimore City. And today I want to show you one of my latest gut renovations. I'm going to go through all the numbers and some of the design decisions that I decided to do when making this. So for those of you who don't know me, I actually started this channel 3.5 years ago, and it was when I was brand new at investing, didn't have anything, actually no renovation experience whatsoever. Now 3.5 years later, I have 15 rental properties and I've done 4 flips. Now this one's actually my 3rd flip. So we're actually selling this one in conjunction with another one that I've already done a video on. So I'm going to be showing you everything. I'm going to walk you throughout the house. I actually use the same design decisions almost all my flips to keep things universal. You're seeing this right now in the punch out phase. What that means is we've done all the finishings, but we're actually in those final little like touch-up items, things that need to be corrected, fixed, and we just knock those items out, and then there you go, we're all finished, put it on the market. So this is a house that was acquired by actually one of my partners, and actually a person from my, I guess my mentorship program, I guess you can call it. I don't like usually calling it because it's actually a lending program where you can lend to me and then I will help you throughout a renovation project. So effectively I pay you to mentor you. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but if you are interested, send me an email and I can explain to you all of what that is. But essentially, they did this flip using my contractors and my crews, and I pretty much walked them through the entire process. In fact, the family who did this lives in New Jersey, so they actually were not able to actually oversee this project, and I oversaw all of it as part of that whole program and experience. Another thing we had done as well is a JV agreement. For those of you who don't know, that's a joint venture. That's where one of you fund the entire deal, or someone funds the whole deal, and the other person renovates the entire thing. You generally split the profits 50-50. It's another way you can structure these type of deals for those of you who don't have money, but you're thinking about working with someone who does, but you have the experience, or vice versa. You have the money, but no experience whatsoever. So anyway, let's go ahead and walk through this, all of the numbers, and I'll take you step by step on what I did here. So I actually have written down my numbers because while I have most of it in my head, a lot of this, it's a gut renovations, all right? So we spent about $84,000 total in this entire project. So I'm going to show you what we did here. You can see through the pictures what it used to look like. There was actually a wall that actually you can see the wall still remained here. We kept this here because of the load-bearing beam. We already knew that the load-bearing beam went this way, so we wanted to support it as much as possible. Note we continued to support the load-bearing beam and actually threw an island here, right, where actually one used to not be. Here's the old kitchen that you're seeing here in the photos, and of course the new kitchen here. We actually did a couple design decisions to save some money. Note that we actually have a space here for a dishwasher, but if you were to look, normally you might even think it's like just an empty space for like a trash can or something. We actually do that in a lot of our rentals, so that way we don't have to have a dishwasher. We can make them provide it. But in this case, we were just saving money since the flip was starting to get very expensive because it was a full gut. So we actually have appliances here that we threw in. They're actually used, even though a lot of them will look brand new. I mean, this looks completely brand new, but it's actually a used appliance. I recommend it because it'd be like $500 per appliance. In fact, for appliances, we actually spent $900 pretty much for these two. Then we had the microwave not installed yet, but we're gonna get it in there and that'll be the rest of it. So as far as the flooring, for those of you who don't know, I actually use a vinyl plank flooring. This is actually very resistant, but the thing is, we usually use this in our rentals. I don't usually like to use this in my flips. Flips, I can save money by using carpet, but not on the main floor. On the main floor, it looks much nicer. I actually use a rustic oak vinyl flooring. Cost me $3.50 a square foot. And then you'll see later on in the video that I used carpet on everything else. I use carpet because it saves money, but I don't like using carpet on my rentals, mostly because it gets damaged over time. So on that, I'm going through all my notes here. On the flooring, we spent a total of, well, $2,560 on the carpet. We spent $2,003 on the vinyl, and then another $900, and I think that was on some flooring that was downstairs in the basement. So that's a total of about a little over $5,000 on the entire house. Now keep in mind, this is a 2,000 square foot row home in Baltimore City, so that should kind of give you a sense of what your numbers might look like. So as far as kitchen cabinets, You can see all the cabinets that we have here. You should think of cabinets as almost costing you $300 a cabinet. They don't actually cost that much, but you can kind of average it out to be that. So all the cabinets that you're seeing here came up to $3,274. So that's everything you see here. You could probably get cabinets a lot cheaper by just simply going to discount stores and such. But we wanted ours to be brand new. We could have had it in our budget to do so. So actually, I'm gonna take you into here. You're noticing some things not finished. We actually kept this old AC unit in there just for right now. It's actually during the summer, so that was actually cooling down the guys. But also this is a pretty heavy area of crime. We didn't want to remove the AC unit and then have this situation where the bars that you see outside of the window, we didn't want the bars actually stop here at this AC unit. So we actually kept it in there for now, but we'll reinforce it later. But other than that, you're actually seeing this is a lot of the stuff that I use right here. It's an open concept sort of style room. We actually installed brand new AC. You can see from the pictures, this used to be a wall here, and we just turned it into an obvious room separation, where now we can use the bulkheads that need to form the AC unit and separate the room. So I'm going to take you upstairs really quick. Note here that we carpeted the staircase. Actually, I could have done a sand and refinishing and all of that. It will look nice, but it looks good anyway because of the contrast of this brown and the white railings and the walls. So it actually looks pretty decent, and this saved us a ton of money rather than sanding and refinishing. So here you're going to see this is a 4-bed, all right, and 2-bath house. All right, now it used to be a 4-bed 1-bath house, but we decided to upgrade it based on our comps. All right, always go by the comps. So to get all the plumbing done in here, we actually ended up spending $5,900. We created a brand new bathroom and completely renovated 2 old bathrooms. So I'm going to show you what now the old bathrooms look like. You can see here in the photos what those look like, and then here we're getting a sense of one of the new bathrooms. Now, in this, I will admit, we had some old subway tile left over. I'm not a big fan of using subway tile in this fashion. I actually prefer, right here, you can see this flooring. I used this tile. This is what I use on both the walls and the floors. It keeps it consistent, keeps the contractors not confused on what's going on. But we had the subway tile, so I was like, you know what, let's just use it, save some money. So I'm gonna show you, this is actually the kids' bathroom. I'll show you what the adults' bathroom look like. So we come through here, you see all the bedrooms, carpeted everything. And then you come into this room here, and this is the master. So you'll see actually what it looked like in the photos before, and now we got this where it's really nice and spacious, and we built out a bathroom where the old closet used to be, and then we built a closet here that bumps into the bedroom next to it. And that's a child's bedroom, so we weren't too worried about it. Wiped out the structure of this little bench thing that was supposed to be right here that you're seeing in the photos here. And then we created this here, this bathroom. And this is my much more preferred way of doing a bathroom, where we actually tiled up the walk-in shower. And I always usually like to make those little inserts. It's very easy to make those, so all right, perfect. And then here, to save money, instead of putting a glass door, which could bump into this vanity that you're probably not seeing here at the moment, you just apply the use of a tension rod, and there you go, you're done. So now I'm going to go ahead and take you into the basement, and I'm going to talk about some of the other costs that we went through in order to get all of this done. So let's go ahead over there. All right, so here we are down in the basement where you're seeing a lot of the older look that was once here is actually still here. I made a design decision to just go ahead and kind of keep that older aesthetic. Now, the real reason I kept that older aesthetic is mostly because of the pain in the butt it would be to replace all these doors and little things they have going on. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and keep it. It not only saves money, we don't have to do anything with it, reduce labor charges, but also it looks kind of cool. Like, I mean, now it's a little bit different from the rest of the house and how it kind of used to look. So we're going to go into the other side of the basement where we really did nothing. But before I do, let's talk about labor charges. We actually did $28,022 in labor. I actually pay my employees, we basically have employees, $25 an hour, except for one of them. He gets paid $15 an hour. He's more of like a supplemental help. So this, over a 7-week renovation time, is the entire time we renovated the house. That averaged out to be about $3,411 a week. in labor. So this is actually not this is actually a pretty average rate, to be honest. $25 an hour is the going rate generally with employees, contractors that you end up using. So if you were to contract this labor out, they'll probably price it as a bulk GC price, and they'll just say, oh, it's $80,000, or probably actually for a deal like this a little bit more. So outside of that, the electric, you're going to notice the electric in here that we've rewired everything. It was the old knob and tube wiring you're seeing in the pictures what that looks like. The problem with new knob and tube wiring is you can't like bounce off of it, if you will. Like you can't like attach off of it and make new lighting. You actually have to run entirely new lines. Also, it's extremely fragile. Our demo crews actually broke a lot of it when they were demoing, and unfortunately we had to replace a lot of it. Unfortunately, we hired a bad electrician. He did the work really bad. You're going to see some of the pictures here where he said tracks everywhere and kind of weird setup, and then we had to rehire someone else. So unfortunately, our electric was a little bit more expensive at $8,750 to rewire the entire house, the 2,000 square foot house where they rewired literally everything. My thinking is I should have paid around $7,500. Also note that we had a service cable that was a little bit damaged and frayed, and we didn't want anyone touching that, because if anyone touched that service cable, they would get electrocuted and possibly die. Now that is not something you want to have happen, obviously, right? But for those of you who might have thought you might want to save a little bit of money to do and just leave it there, no, well, like let that be the buyer's problem, keep in mind that if anyone hurts themselves in your house and you did the work on the house, they have up to 3 years to sue you for it. So if it's something you're thinking about just leaving it in an unsafe condition, there are laws to help people to fight back on you on that. So just be aware of that. So in our case, though, obviously, yes, we sheathed that up. That cost us an extra $950. Now, before I make it into the next room where I show you the rest of it, we actually had demo costing us $5,375 total for this whole house, and they hauled away everything, all the stuff you're seeing in the photos. They pretty much trashed it. You're seeing the photos after the demolition is complete, and you can compare that to the rooms you just saw, and you're seeing they definitely did a lot of damage to this place, pretty much tearing it up down to what I was just saying, a gut renovation. So now I'm going to take you into the final room where I really decided not to do any work on this thing. And I decided, you know what, leave this room alone. All right, now obviously the drop ceiling is missing here, but overall you can see this floor can just be repainted. The drop ceiling can just be put back up. It's a utility room. It is obviously a utility room, so why go through all the cost of just making it look really pretty? Nope, leave it alone. The only thing that we didn't leave alone was the bathroom. We actually, as you guys walk into there, you'll see this new bathroom that we have, and we actually pretty much renovated the whole thing. The only thing we did not renovate was the actual shower. You're seeing the old photos of the shower here compared to the new one. It actually kind of looked nice enough where we decided to just go ahead and keep it. And yeah, I mean, compared to the old photos, you can see we definitely did a lot to this thing and made sure that, you know, pretty much the same materials being used, but we still had to save a little bit of money. So going back into the washer and dryer room, you'll note here that we created hookups for the washer, and there's already dryer hookups, and the washing machine was broken. It's actually the same story, ironically, as some of my other flips. One of the machines are broken, the other one's not, so I threw away them both, and I leave the hookups for you. So we went ahead and barred it shut. A lot of times, making sure security is a big thing on these flips, especially here in Baltimore City, because people will break in. In fact, that's the reason this went over budget. Someone came into this house in the beginning of the renovation project and stole all of the copper in the house. Here you're seeing some photos of some of the copper that was stolen from the water heater, but basically we had to redo all the plumbing, despite the fact that before we didn't have to do that. So essentially they sell the copper, and then of course you have the wiring, they'll do that as well for that as well. So just make sure you protect your renovation properties. Methods like this, you're going to see other methods that we use in other videos. So if you are interested in some of the ways that I protect my houses from thieves, you saw the AC unit, that was one of them. That thing is so massive that it's hard to get out. Plus we nailed it into the window. So kind of helps out in conjunction with the bars to protect the property. Well, that's pretty much, I believe, all the renovation. We did painting, $2,500 for the painting. And but other than that, we had material costs of $20,800 all in total on material costs. And then we have drywall. The drywall was basically just a overall drywall cost. Now this, I'm going to go into the drywall costs here where we kind of almost separated it from everything else. So a little bit is kind of part of that material cost.
but it was $2,510 for the mudding and sanding, basically $10 a sheet for the mudding and sanding, and we had basically what it sounds like, 251 sheets of drywall for a house of this size. We then had $8,110 of materials. That was all the drywall and the sheetrock and the painting involved with it. And then, of course, we spent $3,500 or $2,500 to actually paint the entire house. And that was pretty much from start to finish, about 10 grand, 11 grand ish to paint and drywall and everything for the walls, closing in the walls. So that's pretty much it for this video of my cost breakdown on this house. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below, let me know, and I'll talk to you all very soon.